So today we're working on the 02 Ford Ranger, and it has the anti-theft system that's been acting up. Normally when it's really hot in here is when this thing acts up, but since it's been sitting for a while and it's not in the sun right now, it's very likely going to start, but we'll try it. Okay, so you can see that it didn't start, and you can see the theft light is flashing, and it will literally flash for about 45 seconds. So I'm just gonna let it flash, and I'm gonna come back here in just a minute. Okay, so it quit flashing fast, and now what you'll see is it's gonna flash once and then 4 times. Did you see that? So it'll go once, right there, once, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and it stops. And it'll repeat that. It'll go once, and it'll pause, and 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. So that's a code 14. And what that says it is, and I'll post a link in the video, but what that says it is it's getting a partial read on the chip in here, and the transceiver. There's a little ring behind here. There's a transceiver behind here, and I'll show that later in the video. But the thing about it is since this only does it when it's like above 85 or 90 degrees, and the car is out here, the transceiver's out here, well, the key is in the house, so the key is not hot. So it'd be different if the key was in the car all day long. Then I wouldn't know if the heat was affecting the key or the heat was affecting this. So my guess is the heat is affecting this transceiver, since this was in my pocket and it was in the house, so it's not hot. All right, so I'm in the process of, I'm going to put the new exciter ring, the transceiver ring, but in order to get to that, you have to remove the top cover and the bottom cover. And it's turning out that it's a little harder than what a person would think, but there's only 3 screws, 2 on this side and 1 here. And then to get the bottom cover off, you have to unscrew this tilt lever, and that sucker was pretty tight. I had to actually use a crescent wrench on that little flat spot right there to break it loose. Anyway, once you get that one out of the way, that's the easy one. But then I found out on this top one, you can't just lift it straight up, because you got this little thing here that gets in your way. So I'm gonna have to remove this little plastic cover here. And in order to do that, you gotta pull this bottom cover off. And maybe some of you other guys have found a way to get that top cover off without pulling this little dash plate out of there, but I don't want to take a chance of cracking it. So anyway, so I pulled this out. It just has these clips right there, 1 and 2, and then 3 screws on the bottom. There's 3 screws on the bottom, and actually there should have been 4 now that I'm looking at it, but anyway. So, and then to get this out of here, to get this plastic cover off, believe it or not, there's a screw there and a screw on the other side, so you have to pull this stupid cover off. Alright, so there's that, and then there's 2 screws right there, and for some reason, yep, just what I thought, for some reason, they can't have the same size. It would have killed them. It would have killed them to have the same size socket. These are going to be 7mm. Those big screws are 8mm. The only reason I know this is because I've had this out once before, when I was working on the dash lights. And then there's two, one there and one there. Well, I'm back. So I remembered, well, first off, there was actually 3 screws in here. I forgot that center one, but I went ahead and pulled that out. But I forgot about this one. You do have to pull this out in order to get this little plastic because it goes in behind it. But this one comes out really easy. There's just a screw here and a screw here. They're the same, 7mm. And then you just, once you get them 2 screws out, you just jerk on it. And it's got those little metal clips that just pop in, so you got to tug on it pretty good. So once you get this loose, it's still kind of a tight little squeeze on there. There's just no easy way to get this stuff out of there. And I'm just going to leave the windshield wiper or the headlight and all that stuff hooked up. So, and I noticed I kind of bumped my cigarette lighter a little bit. And of course, it broke. Just go figure. Piece of crap Ford for you. And I barely bumped that thing, but sure enough, it broke it. Well, we'll be JB welding that back together or something. Crying out loud. Okay, so we're getting ready to pull this ignition out, and all I did was got a little Allen wrench. The pick is actually too sharp, but this little Allen wrench works pretty good. And there is a little ball bearing looking thing right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Hopefully you can. But anyway, there's a little ball bearing looking thing right there, and it's spring loaded, and you got to put the key in the on position. All the way to the on position, and then you just push that little spring, and then you just pull the ignition right out, and there it is right there. So it's just that little ball bearing right there, or that little button. So you're just pushing that button, but it's got to be in the on position. And then while I got it out, I'll put a screwdriver in there and turn it off so all my gauges and stuff ain't on. All right, just wanted to show you that. We're getting closer. Now that I've got that out of the way, I'll be able to unhook this wire right there, because that wire just runs right up to this exciter. And then there's one little Torx bit screw right there. And then we're going to pull this exciter off of there, I hope. We'll see. All right, like I said, I just pulled out that one Torx bit screw right there and unplugged that right back down there, right there, and it just lifts out of there. And I couldn't get that screwdriver in there like I thought I was going to on a Chevy. On GMs you can do that, but apparently on this one you have to have the stupid key on these Fords. But on a GM car, you can just put once you get the tumbler out, you can just put a screwdriver in there and turn the ignition any way you want it. Okay, so I'm back, and it is a hot day. It's 96 or 97 degrees, and the truck's been sitting all day, and it's hot in here. So I did get the new transceiver on there, and it was just that simple wire that I showed earlier. I just got everything just on yesterday, and I didn't try to, well, I started it yesterday after I put it on, and it works, but I wanted to do it when it was really hot. So we're going to try it and see what happens. I'll push the clutch in, and it fired right up. So that is a good sign. Again, this thing would always act up if it was anything over about 90 degrees outside, and the inside temperature was pretty hot. And today's 96 or 97 out there right now. And so anyway, that's a good sign. I think it's going to work. I'm going to try it a few more times, but I think we're good to go.